Hey, I'm Blizzard Planet. Imagine this. You're ready to think critically, creatively, and become full of relentless optimism. And have fun while you do it. So you visit Planit Butter, a world made of sparkly peanut butter, and the queen, Blissi, the disco ball of self-reflection, is whirling around in her transforming convertible. This is from my planet to yours. The I stands for intuition, really, Intucentricism. Planit Butter's philosophy. Stick with me, I'll show you how. Thanks for joining me in my 64th episode, where we'll continue to reflect on society and practice leading with our intuition, prioritizing self-control and self-expression, as we always hold space for the feelings, desires, and experiences of others. As always, email me any questions about your world or Planit Butter's philosophy or Planit Butter's world. myplanettoyours@gmail.com. myplanettoyours@gmail.com. All right, guys, today is another incredible story time episode. I'm still coming down from the high of yesterday. So honestly, I've been going through the ringer, the uni. I was like, just damn uni. It's just been like really crazy. Oscillation through Planit Butter's lens is wavering between who we've been and who we want to be. That's kind of the present. Then the present self is experiencing this complexity. And I was like 15 years old for a week this month. And then I was 22 for another week. And then I was 29. I am 29 right now, whatever that means. And my Lord, it's hard. It's hard. Oscillation is hard, and it's necessary for solidifying our upgrades. So transcending the oscillation is another one of my phrases. Are you willing to upgrade? And the willingness to upgrade comes from so many things. Taking responsibility, which last week I defined as the willingness to do more, do less, and pivot in relation to what we can control. And in the willingness to upgrade, indifference is a very strong factor that I've also spoken about extensively in relation to non-attachment to the evolvement of our life. And also in the willingness to upgrade is, of course, our self-friendship practice, which is inherent in all of these things. And of course, the Planit Butter jet ring of consciousness, our cycle for decision-making, intuition, sensations, action, sensations again. It's integrated with self-friendship, which is activated through clarifying our boundaries, respecting our boundaries, becoming more confident in doing so, and therefore sustaining or reconnecting with our alignment. Whew. It's a lot, but it's our choice to make it fun. That's the whole point of Planit Butter. Make it fun. It's hard. Make it fun. And upgrade, expand, evolve. Life is cool. Time is not linear. Things happen like that. Which, the magic. So in my crazy oscillation, it's been pretty wild because thankfully with the tools of self-friendship and Planit Butter jet ring consciousness and being best friends with myself, self-friendship, I know how to work through those upgrades, the oscillations, just like letting it happen, understanding that it needs to happen in order for me to get where I'm going. So it's like that trust of keep going into the unknown and embrace this absolute fucking chaos right now, because that's where we're at. And it's necessary to experience that wavering in order to solidify it more. Because whatever traces left of my 15-year-old self or 22-year-old self that I experienced, I mean, of course, there's still part of me and I'll get triggered at some point in the future. However, really deep-seated triggers that created oscillations, meaning like a longer, not just a momentary trigger of a brief experience, but like the oscillation of like mentally, I literally went back into my 22-year-old brain for a good chunk of time. And I was like, holy crap, like it was a good brain. But now 29, it's like, I love this brain. We've evolved since 22 and it's way cooler now. And so, as cool as I was at 22, nonetheless, we've done a lot of work since then. And so, going to 22-year-old brain was like, oh my God. And 29-year-old me was like, get over here. Because another thing that I say, I get back up here when you start to sink a little bit. And so, in that crazy experience, it was almost like 1 hour I would be my 29-year-old self and I'm like, okay, we're here. And then another hour I would like slip into those little moments of oscillation and my brain would be down here and get back up here. It's crazy. And I share that little bit of chaos to give you reassurance in wherever you're at in your journey, and potentially considering that you might be experiencing some form of oscillation and entering an upgrade. We're always upgrading so long as we are doing what is in our own best interest. Self-friendship, the commitment to embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves. Prioritizing, understanding our boundaries, respecting those boundaries, becoming more confident because we've respected those boundaries, and then therefore sustaining or reconnecting with our alignment. And I will say it until the end of time, whatever that means, because time is not real and linear. And who knows? I don't know. Okay. So in my oscillation, it's been crazy. Got it? And within that time, there's been so much amazing magic, meaning the stuff we can't see from the universe, and also the stuff we can see, like synchronicities, like the universe communicating with us through its signs. And yesterday, I woke up and I decided to do an hour-long breath play session. And I cried, I fell back asleep, I woke up, I cried, I hugged myself. I'm like, this is crazy. And then eventually I got up. But in that time, it occurred to me to just try to make my own sparkles for the sparkly Planit Butter Nutter that is soon to come. I have discovered my sparkles provider supplier in the UK nearly 3 years ago already. And so I have a supplier. I mean, I keep calling him provider. I have a supplier for the sparkles. However, for whatever reason, I was like, make your own sparkles, girl. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try. And so I got up to go make my sparkles. And as I'm sitting at my table doing some work before heading out on my sparkle ingredient adventure, a little grasshopper appears right over on my ground here. And that's like the third or fourth time that a grasshopper has appeared in that exact spot. And it's always in a very transitional, interesting time for me. And remember, guys, the Singer Rich, stick with me. The Singer Rich story, I forget, episode 58, that crazy magical Singer Rich story. Right before I left for that, I felt called to go for like a little night swim. And I sit in my pool and I go to get in my pool. And I didn't end up swimming. Instead, I see there's a grasshopper in the pool. And I'm like, I don't think grasshoppers can swim. So I scooped him up and he sat, I think I said this in the episode, he sat on my finger for 17 minutes. I was like, you can get off, right? Like, of course, you could just hop off anytime. But he didn't. I think because I saved his life and he knew that. And he was there to deliver me a message. So we met each other and became amazing friends, obviously. And so that was the pool thing. And then when I got back from Singer Rich, this spot right here, over here, another grasshopper was there. And I was like, okay, noted. And there were 2 other times since then, all transitional, powerful, pivotal moments. And yesterday I saw one and I was like, ooh, yay, a message from the uni. So I get up and I go over to say hi to the grasshopper. And as I go over there, there are 2 more grasshoppers. And I was like, oh my God, 3 of you are here. This is so cool. And like I said, my emotional state was kind of like crazy. So I was like instantly like brought out of myself. And I was like, I literally started happy crying because the universe is so magical and so powerful, can instantly remove me from myself. And that's the whole point of the development and expression of the healthy ego. Planit Butter's philosophy, Intucentricism, taking responsibility for our ego, and it's the understanding that we have the ability, well, we have consciousness is what we have, okay? And that consciousness allows us to develop and express the healthy ego, and do so with the understanding that we are part of something so much larger than ourselves, which is also why the third core method of self-friendship is alignment. It's which I define as our role in the ever expansive universe, because it's owning that we are here for whatever quote unquote reason, and it's something so much larger than ourselves that we don't need to know the reason. We just need to keep doing what is literally in alignment. And that can be something, it doesn't need to be something as big as Planit Butter. It could be something as small as what I love to always use for listening to your intuition. It's like you could be intending to go left, but then when you get to the corner, your intuition says, go right. So then you go right. Like it's that small. Or last week I shared something about how basically I needed to go get a slice of pizza for whatever reason. And it wasn't my stomach, it was my intuition. My stomach was full. Another just fun little example, because it doesn't need to only be the big things, guys. Life is to be had, and to be had fun. English, whatever. Fun. Fun is Planit Butter's stabilizer, self-friendship's stabilizer. Delusion is our actualizer. So back to the grasshoppers. In my way of being delusional, I'm crazy according to society. Okay. In the sense that the way I've built my business, the way I've structured it, well, the structuring is top notch, but the flow that it's been built is just my flow. It has nothing about anything I've done or do is traditional. Okay. And that's because I'm just entirely true to my intuition. And another thing that I say, guys, is I'm the exception. You are too. You might not own it yet. I'm delusional. And that's because if we all prioritized our intuition, self-control and self-expression, practice self-friendship, did all the Planit Butter things, it would diminish the idea of the exception. There would not be an exception, because everybody would be the exception, because everybody would actually be in alignment. You see? But instead, so many people are so caught up into society that people like me are the exception. And I was like, I'm not the exception. I'm not. I am, but I'm not. Because if you were too, then I wouldn't be. I'm only the exception because I am outrageously, disturbingly, to a lot of people, dedicated to my intuition. And I'm just trying to encourage everybody to cultivate their world, their healthy ego, because I see how powerful it is to create mine, and the value in that I'm simultaneously able to derive and hopefully provide is just fucking gorgeous. And it makes me so happy. From a world made of sparkly peanut butter. Okay, so the grasshoppers, crazy girl. So there were 3, and it was all in the same spot as 2 other times prior, not finding the full one. There was a different one. I can't remember. And these types of things happen to me all the time. But when it's so specific in a day, I've recently decided to be sharing it even more in depth with you guys here, because I'm like, this is so magical. Everybody needs to understand what I mean when I say magic. And reading the universe and all the things, all of it, okay? I preach because I practice. That's why I also say, stick with me. I'll show you how, because I am living, breathing, thankfully, what I am telling you guys. And that's why when the Planit Butter jet shows up, we're all going to have a good laugh. So, and Rick Rubin. Rick? Okay, we'll get there. So, 3 grasshoppers. I freaked out. I'm crying, happy cry, because I'm like, the universe. It was just so affirming to me because I was at a point of like, oh my God, like this is absolute chaos where I'm at with where I'm at. I'm like, this is nuts. So during my breath, oh my God, I also decided to go live yesterday morning. Suddenly I hadn't done that in a really long time. And it was so much fun. We had so much fun. Thanks everyone who showed up Instagram live. And okay. And I told them I was going to go with the sparkles because that also occurred to me in my breath play, and then the grasshoppers. And then I go back to doing my work, and then I go on my sparkles adventure. It was so much fun. I went to all these different little stores. First of all the peanut butters on the shelves, so boring. Honestly, I was like, these labels are so lame. I can't wait. I'll show you guys the Planit Butter label. I could probably, let's see, stand by. I should probably do one of those like pop-up things. We'll wait till, hang on. Oh goodness. Where is, I can show you my screensaver. I don't know if this is going to do it justice. Oh, can you see this? Okay. It's retro, shiny. I don't know. Retro might not even be the right word. It's very Planit Butter. It's very cool. It's very cool. And it's just going to be a standout on the shelf. So I'm very excited. And I was buying ingredients that were supposedly going to make sparkles, and I kind of knew that it was not going to make sparkles just because it didn't make any sense. It didn't make sense. But that was my intuition said sparkles. So I was like, my role today in the universe is to make my own sparkles, or attempt to make my own sparkles. Like that was what I needed to do. My intention, my love, and my action was creating these attempt at sparkles that day, yesterday. That was literally what I was supposed to be doing. So again, not some crazy big, like whatever, just like that's what I was supposed to be doing, period. Okay. And so I bought through different stores and whatever, had so much fun. I went to a bakery, made friends with Mama Oka's Bakery. Go check it out if you're ever in Bali. And she's going to help me find this other potential sparkle supplier thing, just to try. I was like, let me just try to make it on my own. I don't know, just for the sake of love and creativity, because my intuition said so. And I do not question my intuition. Like, obviously I have. I'm not perfect, but we practice. We practice. Intucentricism is the development and expression of the healthy ego through the self-friendship practice and a Planit Butter jet ring of consciousness. It's a practice of boundaries, confidence, alignment, which is in turn the commitment to embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves. And while we do that, as we find ourselves making decisions along the way, we check in with our intuition, our bodily sensations, and then we take action, and then we check in with our sensations again to then take our next action based on our next intuitive thought and pull. Stick with me. I'll keep showing you how. Okay, I come back from my sparkles adventure, and in the same spot, as I walk in, a grasshopper. Oh wait, well, also the 3 that were there. This story is crazy. So they stayed on my wall for 45 minutes before I left for the sparkle adventure. Crucial detail. And then when I came back, one jumped next to my foot when I walked back in at the same spot. And I was like, oh my God, you're still here. This was like 3 hours later. It's like, that's so cool. And it could have been a different one, could have been the same. I don't know. They all look alike. And so that was amazing. And then I get to my chefing, doing my thing. Okay. Chefing, melting butter, cocoa butter, and putting such a disaster. By the end of it, it just looked like little wee pads with butter filled with cinnamon. It was so ridiculous. It was so funny. It is so funny. It's right there still. I haven't had the heart to throw it out yet. You want to see it? Circles. Funny as shit. It's so funny. Like, what the fuck is that? Art. It's art. And so, while I was doing all that, another grasshopper, also one of the three, led me on a little adventure over to the lounge chair. We hung out there for a good few minutes. And then when I'm back here, the other one jumps by my foot. And then I'm over here doing the cooking thing, or whatever you want to call this experiment, artistic endeavor. And the grasshopper then later again was back on the floor. I go back over. I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much for your moral support today. He jumped through my legs. That's crazy. And I got it on video. I was like, that's so fucking cool. And then he jumps onto the counter and he was underneath the counter. I'm like, you are literally supporting the butter, right? Like the Planit Butter right now. This is so cool. And then he hung out on the wall for like an hour or two. This is crazy. Then I leave for sunset. I go on my beach walk. I go to the sauna, go to my ice bath. And then I come home and I'm sitting and I open my bank account to give love to it, because part of my craziness right now is because I've entirely invested fucking everything into Planit Butter. Everything. And I'm like, I think this is what people would call rock bottom. But in my mind, I'm like, just switch that up to a peanut butter volcano, because we're about to pop. Delusion, guys. And see, fun is our actualizer. No, delusions are actualizer. Fun is our stabilizer. In a situation, and I've talked about this too, it's like, I forget what episode, but there was an episode where I think I titled it something along the lines of where most people would settle or something, I shine. Settle or stress, I shine. Because I have fun and I stay delusional, which is not really delusional. Just according to society, it looks delusional. Anyway, I opened my bank account because I was like, I love you so much. But when I looked, I was like, a big chunk got taken out. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. But thankfully, it was to my own investments and my storage unit in LA. So I was like, okay, at least it was like nothing crazy. It was like, for me, pay yourself first, guys. And but then I'm selling my Chippy, my darling Chippy, my BMW 128i 2013, 73,000 miles, and a very rare vermilion red, if you're interested. Who's also going to be he's a collector's item of Planit Butter. Hello, he's on the podcast cover. He's in the book as a transforming convertible. This is no joke. Chippy I'm not really selling him. I decided he's being leased because eventually I'm going to want him back for the Planit Butter Museum. Anyway, so all that said, so I immediately go to text my friend Heather Thurs, the #1 boxing and yoga instructor in the world. She's so cool. Check her out, Heather Thurs. And I go to text her because she is the godmother of Chippy and she's been babysitting. And so I was like going to tell her, hey girl, we need to like get on selling him now, actually, because I just paid myself and I did not realize what that was like. Dude, we need I gotta eat. And also I think sharing this is so important because I feel like most people share after, like once they are considered successful by society, then they talk about all the crazy things that they did. And I'm like, I'm just gonna tell you now because I know where this is going. And like I said, the volcano is erupting. The Planit Butter volcano is going like, and we're just like, it's boiling. It's like, that's what these grasshoppers affirmed. And Singer Rich and all these freaking things. Oh, it's so cool. So, yeah. So, okay. So I go to message Heather. I'm like, listen, this is where we're at. This is not a joke. We got a boogie. And because that's my taking responsibility, my willingness to do more, do less, and pivot. Okay? Leading by example, guys. Preaching because I practice. You see? Far out fundamentals. It all ties back to all the same things because it's fundamental. Okay. So I'm messaging Heather. And then, boom, a praying mantis flies in front of my face like, hello, and then lands on my wall and stays on my wall for literally 2 hours. And I'm like, uni. It's so freaking magical. It's crazy. So I'm like, floored, literally floored. I'm like, so you sent me like 6 or 7 grasshoppers, 5, 6, 7, I don't even know. And then a praying mantis as a little cherry on top. Are you kidding me? And I looked at the symbolism for all this, of course, just to like even further understand it. And I forgot, but grasshoppers can only move forward. And I think that's so cool because I'm like, totally. Because I invite you to join me, but I am for damn sure on a one-way to Planit Butter. And I hope you'll come with. And I'm so excited. And so that was absolutely nuts. And simultaneously, there's all these other crazy magical things happening. So you guys know Rick Rubin. I love that man. I don't know him yet, but I'm going to love him. I love his work and I love his brain from what I know about it. Because when I read The Creative Act, I was entirely mirrored everything I had been doing on my own intuitively for years with Planit Butter. And so I was like, oh my God, this man gets it. And that's when I started to love him because I'm like, wow, I feel seen, heard, and understood by this man and mentally aligned. Come on. And that is why I would like to invite him, and I have invited him every single day on Instagram, to interview me on Tetragrammaton and write the foreword to Planit Butter's chapter book, mixed media chapter book, Far Out Fundamentals, the Planit Butter Renaissance, where I break down Intucentricism, Planit Butter's philosophy, and incorporate Planit Butter world art, much like from this book, but even crazier and cooler. This book is falling apart, which I also talked about, I think, last week or something. Magic, more magic. And Rick Rubin's team is hiring and they're looking for a new intern. And I just made a post today. It's going to be out before this video is out. So whatever, I'm blasting it everywhere all the time. And so even though I tag him every single day, DM him, I know I've DM'd him, but I tag him every single day and I post in every single like caption, Rick Rubin, I would love to invite you to blah, blah, blah. But with this intern thing, their way of accepting applications, which is such clever marketing, is to make a video using their content and whatever and hashtag tetra.org. So whoever's on his team that's going to be looking through the people's submissions is going to be looking at that hashtag, right? So I made a video that's out today, Monday. You'll see this Thursday. And shared what I share with you right now. And I wrote in the caption saying, I'm not your intern. I'm society's game changer. And then I said, dear human on Rick's team reading this, I'm willing to bet your job that Rick Rubin, tagging him, would be disappointed to not learn about my existence / Planit Butter. And then I write about like Far Out Fundamentals. Anyway, I say that because how freaking mad, and the closing date is Tuesday. So this video that you're watching is going to be out Thursday after their closing date. So let's say his team is looking at this Wednesday. We're going to have all new news by Thursday. Watch. Uni? Show me. And so I'm just really excited because I've tagged him every day. It's like, what are the chances that there's this 5-day window, right? No coincidences. What are the chances that there's a 5-day window to submit these internship things? And now I have this opportunity to like make sure his team sees this. Because I checked the hashtag, there's only about 182 posts for submissions, which includes his post and the team and the Tetragrammaton team's post saying about the submissions, which means there's even less. And I put 5 of my videos in there that were like key components of Planit Butter for them to see. And then this one being very, because I want to make sure that his team sees this. This is not a joke. Rick Rubin, I will see you soon. I'm really excited. And that's the magic. That's what's going on. And then today I got like 3 dragonflies, which also happens last time that I saw the grasshoppers. It was grasshoppers were coming to me, and then it shifted to the dragonflies, because I guess the grasshoppers like wait till the right moment to jump, and they only jump forward. And then the praying mantis is like slow, patient, intentional or other. And while dragonflies are like zoop, 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 like all action, like, okay, make your moves. So I'm like, this is so crazy interesting. So that's the magic messaging from the universe, and my affirmation and the alignment with Rick Rubin coming so soon. I can feel it. And whatever other magic that we don't even know about, because it's magic and we don't know. And there was one other thing. Okay. Lastly, so in the spirit of the Planit Butter sparkles for the nutter that I was making yesterday, even though I kind of knew that was not really going to work because the ingredients made no sense, that they were not going to sparkle, but it was my intuitive, that was like what I was meant to do yesterday. So I did. And that led me to this love for the word failure, because I'm like, okay, technically we could say that this sparkles was a failure, but because of my perspective, and it's like, there's no such thing, I decided like, I actually love that word because it's like health. It's just healthy. I actually love that word because it's healthy to just say, hey, yeah, that didn't work. Right. And that's never been an issue for me. I can always say, yeah, that didn't work. But I just never view it as a fail. Like, oh, I failed. Like, that's not, because there's a negative connotation, which is why I came up with, for Blizzard's dictionary on Planit Butter publication, the latest word, failurification. The definition is evolving through the acts of creativity, love, and intention despite results. Results of our efforts vary. Our perceived failures stem from specific desired outcomes not being met. Failure has a negative connotation. It also has this big, bold, sexy connotation associated with those who are already what society commonly perceives as successful. But like I've been saying to you guys, I am not what society would yet consider successful. I'm successful in my own mind, but I understand from a societal judgment standpoint of like what people call successful. It's not me yet. And I think that's kind of hilarious because, again, people after the fact, they share the hardships or they share the whatever. And I'm sitting here literally having the best time of my life in what other people call the hard times. And I'm like, this is hard, but I'm also having fun. Fun is everything. Fun is our stabilizer. That's why when it's hard, it stabilizes us. Fun. Life is meant to be fun. Stick with me. I'll keep showing you how. And so I came up with failurification. And there's more to that little piece, but because it's for paid subscribers, I can't read you guys the rest because that would be not nice to the people who are really supportive of the business. Okay. And so that brings us to whatever is about to unfold this week. It's Monday, but you'll see this Thursday. I usually don't record on Mondays, but I felt called because I was like, I'm already losing touch with the story of yesterday, because as you saw how chaotic of a version of a story that was barely a story because it's so crazy. Because also the story is just a narrative, it's just one perspective, but there were so many things going on that's why it's not really, there's no clear cut this then this, but it was just the flow and the this and the that, and then oh, by the way, and there's so many other things I didn't even tell you about, right? Magic. So I'm so happy for all of us to be here together. There is a baby ant on my microphone. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed the crazy story. I know I did. 5, 6, or 7, I don't know, grasshoppers and a praying mantis to seal the deal. Planet Butter volcano is erupting. Stand by. Thanks for visiting Planet Butter, my world made of sparkly peanut butter, where I hopefully inspire you to critically think, creatively think, and optimistically approach life. Believing in the magic, developing and expressing our healthy ego through the practice of self-friendship, which is the commitment to embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves, and integrated with the PB Jet ring of consciousness, our cycle for decision making. Intuition, sensations, action, sensations again. Keep listening. We will get there together. It's not easy, but we can choose to make it fun. From my planet to yours, Blizzard. And as always, coffee table book with a lesson, Planet Butter, Party of One, Self-Friendship in Action is available internationally on planetbutter.com. Please subscribe and review the show wherever you're watching or listening. I love to hear your thoughts, and I appreciate you supporting Planet Butter. See you next Thursday. Thanks for landing on Planet Butter. From my planet to yours, Blizzard.